Last verse in Genesis chapter 2. We've made it! Woo! Genesis chapter 2, verse 25. And the man and his wife were naked and they were unashamed. Talk about ending on a good verse. You know that women are far more likely to have image or body problems than men? Women walk past a mirror and they go, ugh, I'm getting fat. Men walk past the mirror and they stick their chest out and they go, oh yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I still got it. Even if you don't, you know the model usually fits, right? Guys tend to see the best in themselves. Women tend to look at themselves and see the worst. So guys, we got to find a way to help our wives see who they really are. Now, I'm certainly not proud of it, but when I was first married, I used to put down my wife thinking I would encourage her to do better. I would say, sweetie, I feel like you're getting a little fat. Sweetie, have you thought about losing some weight? Sweetie, you know those pants are getting kind of tight on you, right? I was really trying to be helpful to get her to dress better and watch what she eats and be healthier. I really did it genuinely trying to help. But let's be real here. She did not find it helpful at all. In fact, if anything, it only made her try less and eat more. If I got to be honest, man, if you had asked me back then, I would have really said my wife was letting herself go. She was 95 pounds when I met her, and she was like 115 when I really started kind of jabbing, trying to get her to lose some weight. I mean, she put on 20 pounds. And what's crazy is from the time I met my wife, for the next 20 years, I weighed the same thing I weighed in high school. But there's nothing fat about 115 pounds. And I'm nowhere near the weight I was in high school now either. Somewhere along the way, I really grew up though. And I learned that the things I was saying to my wife weren't helping anybody at all. I decided I was going to love my wife for who she was regardless of what she weighed or what she looked like. So instead of telling her all the things that she wasn't, I started complimenting her on the things that she was, and complimenting her on the work that she was making and on the decisions she was making, trying to build her up and love her on the good side rather than push her on the bad side. Today, my wife is well over her ideal body weight. She'd tell you the same thing. It really kind of bothers her. But you know what? I think she is the best looking woman in the world. She is smoking hot to me. And I don't know what changed. She didn't change, but something changed in my mind when I started complimenting her and looking at the good side and admiring the good stuff. Something changed in me to where I no longer saw all the problems. I only see the good stuff. And I'm not just saying that. Like, it's true. I still love, after 25 years of marriage, being around my wife absolutely naked. The two were naked and they felt no shame in the Garden of Eden. And guys, I think the same thing's true in marriage, that we become so united together, so intimate together, so at peace and one together, that we don't have to worry about what we look like when we're naked around each other. We love each other for who we are. So she doesn't have a flat belly and I don't have a six-pack, and neither of us care. We just love each other. Now, I'll tell you, there's a second side to this as well. Not only did I start telling my wife how beautiful she was, the other major change I made several years ago in my life was I quit looking at porn. And when I quit looking at porn, I quit judging my wife based on the people I saw on the screen. And I started judging my wife for who she was. I started seeing her as beautiful, not them as beautiful. She's not having to live up to their standards anymore, because I've cut them out of my life. My eyes are only for my wife, and it has allowed me to love her fully for who she is. Now, I want to use this moment to say, if you are still looking at porn, if you are addicted to porn, there is hope. And the hope isn't buying a new filter. The hope isn't finding some magic formula or some magic pill. The hope is that you will day by day make the hard choice to not look at that stuff and to pursue your wife instead. Here's the hope. Your brain, just like your skin cells on your arm constantly flake off and die and then grow new cells. Your brain cells do the same thing. The Bible calls it renewing your mind. When your brain cells are made, they have to decide what that brain cell is going to do. And you know what they do? The first thing you teach them to do. They only do one thing. Every new brain cell only fires in one direction. And so if you want your mind to work properly, get it firing in that direction. That's why reading the Bible first thing in the morning is a great thing to do. Also, when you're stressed or when you normally go running to that trash on the internet for relief or comfort or whatever it is for you, when you resist that and you do something else, you pursue your wife instead, you make up with your wife, you love your wife, you sing songs about your wife and dance around her. Whenever you refuse to allow your brain cells to go back to that, they eventually die off and new brain cells are made that think about things a new way. Now here's the hard part. It takes 5 to 7 years for all the brain cells in your brain to die and new ones to be made. 5 to 7 years. So if you will fight the good fight to resist pornography for 5 years, you will almost have a completely new brain. And by 7 years, it's not going to hardly be tempting at all. Now, it doesn't mean it won't be tempting some. It is still some, but it is so weak compared to what it was 10 years ago for me. I am so glad that I made the changes I made. And I know you will too if you'll just stick with it. But on the other side of that, every time you give in, it doesn't reset everything and make it start over, but it does really slow things down. So if you are struggling with that, I pray that you will work hard this week to set up some guidelines, to set up some barriers, move the computer out away of your study into the living room. I don't know. Talk to your wife about your addiction. I know that's hard. Gentlemen, trust me, I know that's hard. I had to do that, but it is well worth it because then you're both working on it together. It's not just you. Find an accountability partner as well. Call me up. Say, hey, Matthew, you talked this week about pornography. I'm struggling. And together we'll work out a plan to figure out how to help you get free of it, okay? We'll work on this together. I'm there for you if you just reach out and ask. Now, another thing is if your wife struggles with you seeing her naked, that's okay. Sometimes we got to make love with the lights off for a while, right? If your wife doesn't like you sneaking in to see her shower, you got to just accept that and work on that. Compliment her, love on her, build her up, compliment her in every way you can. It will get better. Some women just really struggle with self-image that bad. The secret really is to meet her where she's at and love her to the place you want her to be. Not force her, not drive her, not beat her. Love her to the place you want her to be. And when she's willing, it'll be something you guys can talk more about and work through together. Guys, every woman's soft and gentle and kind. We have to meet them where they're at, treat them with a loving kindness, protect their emotions, help make some new family traditions where they feel safe and protected and loved, and we will lead them slowly in the way we want them to be. Guys, this doesn't have to be a sprint. We're not trying to make our wives perfect by next week. We're trying to make the woman we grow old with the wife we've always wanted. All right, so here's some points to ponder. They were naked and not ashamed. Number 1, are you looking at other women in ways you shouldn't? Number 2, are you complimenting your wife and building her up for the way that she looks? Number 3, are you both comfortable being around each other naked? If not, what needs to change so you are? God bless you guys. Enjoy this. Memorize Genesis 2:25. They were naked and not ashamed. Think about it every day this week and think about how you can love your wife, be naked, fully exposed, fully open and transparent with her, not just with your clothes off, but with your heart, fully transparent with her this week, showing her all that you are, your heart, your emotions, your soul, everything. God bless you guys. We'll see you next week.